We just witnessed something insane unfold in TD Garden this afternoon as the Boston Celtics went on and took on the Denver Nuggets in some great performances led by Al Horford. Father Time was able to turn itself back and succeed versus this Nuggets squad as Al Horford showed not only that he is not ready for retirement, but could be an impactful player in this league for a couple more years. So we're going to be diving in, looking at Al Horford's great performance, looking at what this Boston Celtics team was able to accomplish in today's victory, amongst many other Celtics stepping up in the ways that we love to see. We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support on the channel, which has been super, super appreciative over these last couple weeks. And with the Celtics team, obviously looking to get on a nice little start after losing and collapsing versus this Cleveland Cavaliers team last Friday, it obviously is looking nice to bounce back. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on this game, and let's dive into the news at hand today. Make sure to grab a snack. And like I said, it was truly amazing to watch this game unfold. We had another afternoon game for the Boston Celtics, back-to-back Sunday games at a 1 p.m. slate. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I really do like this 1 p.m. slate for the Boston Celtics as it allows us to have the rest of our afternoon, regardless of the win or the loss, to, just enjoy the day and not be frustrated, not be anxious, thinking, waiting about this team, similar to what I have to do with the Phoenix Suns for Suns Digest. But talking about this Celtics team, like I mentioned, let's dive in and let's look at all the stuff as we saw them come out and beat this Denver Nuggets squad 110 to 103 in a game that was going back and forth through the metrics. The Celtics were able to keep control for a majority of this game as they were in the lead. And I think Denver did have, some early lead changes early on in the contest. But besides that, the Celtics were able to hold their own here versus this Denver Nuggets squad as they played some solid offense and defense working together as a cohesive unit. We want to look at the team once again. No Kristaps Porziņģis and no Jrue Holiday for the Boston Celtics. So slotting inside the starting lineup for the Celtics today was the double big lineup to combat with Nikola Jokic, Al Horford, and Luke Kornet. And that brought some great value for this Celtics team. As we mentioned, Jaylen Brown was absolutely insane for the Celtics off the start to rip. Similar versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, he had another pair of threes to early get going and had 12 points, I believe, in the first quarter. He overall finished with 22 points, so did kind of calm down towards the later half of the game, but for the Boston Celtics, he was the engine to start the game once again, like versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. And not only was a scoring option, but 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, helping out on the defensive side, helping getting these guys going. And we saw JB as well get a very, very big block down low, I believe, in the third or fourth quarter in the second half, which really rejuvenated the Celtics in one of their runs. Jayson Tatum, a little bit of a questionable game compared to the game that he obviously had in Cleveland last game. Obviously, only 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, almost close to a triple double, but not the greatest shooting performance from Jayson Tatum tonight. And with that, obviously, some players had to step up for the Celtics team. So we got to see greatness unfold with Al Horford and Derrick White really coming through for this Celtics team in the starting lineup. Derrick White, once again, is just that clutch three-point shooter. You need Derrick White to make a three, he'll go and do it. You need Derrick White to go get a steal, he will do it. You need Derrick White to make a nice pass down low because they're double teaming him because he's made 4 threes in the quarter, he will do that. Tell me something that Derrick White will not do. I cannot find it on this Celtics team. I want to thank Brad Stevens so much for bringing in Derrick White because he has been the best value piece for this Celtics squad, offensively and defensively. He fits like a glove and does everything the team needs. Like I mentioned, if you need him to come up late in the offensively or defensively, he will shine. If you need him to do both, he can even be better at that. 6 for 13 from the field. 5 threes for Derrick White tonight. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, once again with 17 points. And like I mentioned, Father Time turned back today for Al Horford. 7 for 12 from the field, 1 for 3 from three-point range. And I want to give out to a shout out to Jake Eisenberg from First to the Floor podcast as he brought this up when I was listening to their post game show with Sam LaFrance before I started recording, which let me know that this was Al Horford's second highest scoring game this season. He had 20 points versus the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier on. Today, he finished with, I believe that's 19 points, 7 for 12 from the field, 4 for 4 from free throw, with 8 rebounds and 3 steals. And not only was Al Horford an effective scorer for this team, but he was making the right plays, he was in the right spots, he was exceptional defensively, guarding against players like Nikola Jokic and helping over on switches. And that's what you love to see with Al Horford. The engine that Al Horford brings every single night, unfortunately, isn't as much of a value as last season, as we saw Al Horford last year, having these games where he was getting 20 points every, 4 or 5, maybe even 6, 7 games with 5 or 6 threes, where he was able to provide those slumps. Unfortunately, that's not the Al Horford we are seeing, but this year. But we have seen glimpses of Al Horford, getting 10 points here and there. And in those games where Al Horford does shine for the Boston Celtics, they do take that extra leap offensively, just due to the nature of fact that their big veteran is helping them out and providing them some extra help offensively. But not only just offensively, but defensively has Al Horford been a menace, because Al Horford, as we all know, is the Giannis Antetokounmpo stopper. He's been one of those guys that can limit some of these bigs. And versus Nikola Jokic, he was doing his best as well to play some solid defense. When looking at the Celtics bench, though, there are also some very notable names to mention today, as 3 out of the 4 guys out of the Celtics bench played really, really solid. Craig played decent. He once again has struggled to find his shot and rhythm offensively since he shot 100% in his first game versus the Spurs with the Boston Celtics. But he has been a solid defender and a pretty decent body. The only question is he providing a little bit more than what Jordan Walsh could bring? But when you look at the other 3 guys for the bench today, I want to give them very big highlights. Peyton Pritchard played absolutely fantastic earlier on, was hitting his own shots, was finding guys like Sam Hauser open. And the connection between Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard is just so unique. Peyton Pritchard not only just being that offensive guru, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 11 points, a plus 10, a little bit of a reverse for what he has had been producing. And in that Cavaliers game where he was like a minus 36 to my knowledge. And Sam Hauser, once again, a guy who was hunted on the defensive side versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, fights back offensively, shooting 66% from 3 and 75% from the field, with 3 rebounds and assist and getting a block, totaling 6 points. I really liked what I saw with Hauser. And Namish Keita, a guy who was getting crucified last game, where the Celtics were really struggling, saying, oh, Namish Keita is not that much of a great big, he can't help out. Namish Keita played a fantastic night in 17 minutes, shot 80% from the field, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 8 points, and was just doing it all for the Boston Celtics on the dirty work. Also, I don't know why they didn't credit him for a block, because I'm pretty sure he got a block on the defensive end right there, unless he just rose up and gave that good contest. But I'm kind of confused on that. But like I mentioned, Namus Keita was absolutely fantastic. And in these types of moments, we have seen Keita have some raw potential and not be able to extinguish it, looking lost on the offensive side, maybe not being in the right position defensively, committing too many early fouls. But in games like this is where you need Namus Keita. And a guy, our coach in Joe Mazzulla also agrees, as Jack Simone lets us know that Bobby Kravitsky asked about Namus Keita, and he said if he were on any other team, he'd be a backup big. And this is something that I've said on this channel, where I think he could grow to be that backup big, and I ultimately do think he can still at this point. With having Luke Cornett and Namus Keita, they obviously bring different values. Keita's a little bit more athletic, a little bit more sporadic. How I would describe Namus Keita is trying to keep an energy ball contained in a glass. It's just going to be bouncing everywhere, right? Trying to do everything. Whereas Luke Cornett is a little bit more stable, calm. He's going to work in that function and kind of present himself. But sometimes that function ultimately collapses and has a malfunction, where the energy beam can just spark and plug and play and do this and do that to kind of fill in those holes. And sometimes in those games, Namus Keita is effective, and sometimes in those games, Luke Cornett is effective. I know my analogy is terrible here, but that's the best that I can do at this rate. And ultimately, I do believe that a guy like Namish Keita can grow to be the kind of big that we do see in Luke Cornett now, because Luke Cornett was kind of like this when he did arrive to Boston, but has been able to figure out through the edges, and from being in the league and being in Boston for a couple of seasons, to understand his role. And I do think going into next season, regardless with Luke Cornett being a free agent, we'll have to see. Will the Celtics bring him back? I hope so, because I think he could be great. But if not, could Namish Keita live up to that potential that Luke Cornett was being just a couple seasons and could be for the Celtics? We'll have to wait and see. Want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section, because like I said, it was a great game to watch. The Nuggets were fighting it back down to the wire. Celtics were hunting Jamal Murray for a little bit on the offensive side here, and we're using him as the seal. But right in reverse, the Nuggets were able to have guys like Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic get on these runs to kind of combat versus the Boston Celtics. Got to give props to Christian Braun as well. He was very effective. 24 points, 3 assists, 4 steals, 1 block. Just one of the very, very undervalued players for this Denver Nuggets team as a cutter, as a scorer, as a guy that can just kind of do it all. And I truly do believe a guy like Braun's going to be very impactful for this team in the future. Westbrook hit some big threes, missed some late, but did hit some early on. Unfortunately for this Nuggets team, Strother got hurt a little bit while he was brought back on the bench, but just didn't have enough to match up against this Celtics squad. Still were able to, rally, combat, make it an interesting game. It's not like it was a blowout or any by means. The Celtics did have leads of 20 points at some points, but the Nuggets were able to crawl themselves back. The only difference in this game is that when the Nuggets went to crawl back, the Celtics didn't give up. Similarly versus the Cleveland Cavaliers just a couple days ago, they were able to rebuttal and bounce back, fighting and clawing back at this Nuggets team to instill the win. Well, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel. Like I said, great team win. Unfortunately, Jaylen Brown went off really, really early in the beginning, kind of closed down towards the end. Jayson Tatum didn't have the best overall game, and without Jrue and KP, it was a little bit limiting. But guys like Horford, Derrick White, Namish Queta, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser all stepped up and delivered to make sure that the Boston Celtics got a big-time key victory. It was a tough Western Conference team in the Denver Nuggets. We'll have to see how the Celtics team matches up during the rest of their week. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel, and let me know what you guys are wanting to see on the channel as we provide daily Celtics content here for you guys. So make sure to stay up to date, and we'll be back with the next videos. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out, and go Boston Celtics.